The Ukrainians attacked Russian positions south of Ivanivska, exploiting a vulnerability in the Russian assault pinnacle and thus advancing about 500 meters, putting the Russians' very operational plan in trouble. Adding to this, the 3 bridges over the Blue Mark Channel east of Chasiv Yar have been detonated, which will buy valuable time for the Ukrainian defenses. At the same time, the first deliveries of Western artillery munitions have arrived in Ukraine, along with interceptor missiles for Patriot systems, which could generate a ban on Russian aircraft dropping dozens of FAB-500, devastating bombs on Ukrainian defensive positions. All in all, this whole string of events is leading to an improvement in the situation on the ground, even if we are not talking about stabilization. Another piece of good news is that Chasiv Yar will not fall by May 9th, and if the Ukrainian commanders' decisions are wise and the Russians make tactical mistakes, which I sense they are about to do, I am hopeful that Chasiv Yar will hold out for a few weeks to a good few months, depending also on what the Russians do on the Kupiansk and Pokrovsk axis. The importance of Chasiv Yar. It is practically the last fortress with a geographical advantage, elevation and water canal to the east of the town, that can hold out, even if with heavy losses from the Ukrainians as well, and on whose resistance depends a strategic objective for Russia, the conquest of Donbass. Such a scenario, whereby Donbass would fall as a result of the fall of Chasiv Yar, which would lead to an increase in Russian morale, with a commensurately inverse effect on Ukrainian morale, could lead to the collapse of the defenses around Kostiantynivka, and thus create a much easier path for Russian concentrations to prepare the final assault on Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, the key cities for the conquest of Donbass. Ukrainian SSO fighters of the 73rd Maritime Center of Operations carried out demilitarization in the southern direction. Europe needs to immediately remove Russians with access to critical infrastructure. Italy. Military equipment including Centauro B-1 and FH-70 towed howitzers destined for Ukraine was recorded at the port of Napoli by a native Russian. He says, "Fucking tanks."
Здесь нашли ебаные танки. Какого хуя на мой корабль, а? Они еще и рту сюда притянули. Может, это помощь какая-то Украине, не знаю. Но с рты по мне явно стрелять не будут. Ладно, еще танки.
Russia has switched to land routes in occupied eastern Ukraine to supply its front lines following repeated attacks by Ukraine on the Kerch Bridge. Analysis of satellite images shows that almost no military freight trains have used the railway line over the Krim Bridge for over 3 months, reports The Independent. Attention, Finland. Russian propagandist Solovyev, I've always felt that Finland wanted to go back to the Russian Empire.
Я всегда ощущал, что финны хотят обратно в Российскую империю. Вот у меня было это ощущение, что вот они как брошенки, постоянно пытаются как-то обратить на себя внимание. Мечта Российской империи, вот как-то в сердце финского рыбака так сильно, дын-дынц. Мы поможем финскому рыбаку, если он будет себя настолько безумно вести.
Putin's fifth inauguration. Back in 2008, he said the worst kind of addiction is addiction to power and swore not to run for a third term. I do think that if the West has responded strongly to Putin's aggression in Georgia in 2008, the inauguration tomorrow might not have happened.
Разные люди склонны западать на разные вещи. Кто-то попадает в зависимость от табака, кто-то, прости господи, от наркотиков. Говорят, что самая большая зависимость от власти. У меня не было соблазна остаться на этой листе. Никогда.
Я буду баллотироваться на должность президента.
A fallen tree by the Kremlin, shot down by a blank shot from an artillery salute, has impressed a lot of people on Russian telegram channels. It is regarded as a special sign. The Russian Federation is becoming more and more like the land of unknown fathers from the Strugatsky's inhabited island. Literally, propaganda towers, monstrous, crooked equipment, meat. The only difference is that the fathers are well known. On the inhabited island, they were at least shy. And this is interesting. In 1989, PepsiCo technically possessed the world's sixth largest naval fleet for a brief moment. In a strange deal, Russia sold Pepsi 17 submarines, a frigate, a cruiser, and a destroyer to maintain the flow of Pepsi soda into the country. However, the vessels were immediately sold for scrap to a Norwegian company. Footage from this morning showing a Merkava LV main battle tank of the Israel Defense Force running over a welcome sign which says Gaza at the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and southern Gaza.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.